Yeah, just a quick review of the book, The Stress-Proof Sonographer, Strategies for Reducing Burnout and Thriving in Your Career. As you can see, it's not too long of a book. The print's a good size, especially for older people like me. Can't see as well as they did when they were 18. Basically, the book's divided up into 10 chapters. I'll just go over each briefly just to give you an idea what's in the book, see if it's something you're interested in. The first one is I Know How You Feel. It's kind of just an introductory chapter. 2 is Stress Leads to Burnout. Talks about the telltale symptoms of burnout and tips for getting ready in the morning. 3 is Good Morning Sunshine. They talk about mindful meditation. 4 is Nutrition and Hydration. 5 is Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Here they cover interesting things like road rage, breathing techniques you can do on your way to work. Let's see, 6 is Room Setup and Avoiding Injuries, always important. 7 is Dealing with Patience. Here they talk about active listening and boundaries and more. 8 is Dealing with Peers, Managers, and Physicians. Here they talk about things like negativity and bullying. 8 is Mentoring Students, and 10 is Shake It Off. Yeah, they go over like some tips for winding down for the day. So yeah, a few key points. I think they're very practical tips in this book. The chapters are short, so they're easy to get through. You know, you might be busy at the end of the day. You don't have time to but sit and read maybe a little bit, so you can still cover a chapter or two in just a short period of time. So it's all in all, it's an easy read, and I think the tips just plain make sense. You know, you can tell this is written by somebody who basically has been there, done that, or is still doing that. So yeah, I'm glad to see there's a lot more books coming out now for the working sonographer. I never used to be any at all. Let me bring up another one that I really like, Easy Exercises and Quick Fixes for Sonographers with Pain. There's a high rate of work-related musculoskeletal injuries in the sonography world, especially compared to other health professionals. Just the body, it just takes its toll on your body, and all I can tell you. This book basically is a book of like exercises and things you can do to decrease the stress in the tissues at the end of a hard work day. Basically, this will exercise here will actually help prevent injuries. So if you're just getting into the field or you don't have any injuries, these exercises you can do, will prevent injuries. And also, if you have any existing injury, they will also help treat those injuries. Basically, targets the most stressed out tissues in a sonographer's body. Kind of starts out with the thumb and works its way up the arm, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, the neck, and the lower back. Just to give you a little bit about what the book's about. Basically, this is like thumb distraction. You know, if you have like thumb arthritis, overworked thumbs and arthritic thumbs, I'll say overworked joints and arthritic joints really like to be distracted. It basically just gets the circulation to it, takes all the load off the joint, gives it time to rest and heal. Couple muscles here, abductor pollicis longus and your first dorsal interossei, they really stabilize your wrist joint. It gives you an exercise for that. And I might add that basically these are exercises, basically you choose the areas that you think you need improvement on. Like say if you have thumb pain, do that. If you have like shoulder pain, then just go to the shoulder pain section and do the shoulder exercises. You have to do all of these. How to instantly lower carpal tunnel. Carpal tunnel syndrome is caused by increased pressure in the carpal tunnel, and this is a technique you can use to lower the carpal tunnel, the pressure in the carpal tunnel. So if you do that periodically through the day, you keep pressure down, you don't run into carpal tunnel syndrome. Let's start wrist distraction. Also has a couple of exercises to strengthen your wrist. Emphasize a lot on the wrist here. Increase wrist circulation, some tips. Talks about like contrast therapy, something you can do in your kitchen, alternating hot and cold. Kind of flush the blood in there and out, in and out. Feels really good at the end of a long day of scanning. Also has some other things you can do, like self-massage using like a tennis ball. Splints, if you're really to the point where you might need a splint just to rest your hand at the end of the day. Kind of gives you a few tips about what kinds to look for. Good resting positions of the wrist. The elbow goes over something for a tennis elbow and exercise. Shoulder really emphasizes rotator cuff strengthening because the shoulder really relies upon the rotator cuff for stability. The shoulder is a really shallow ball and socket joint, unlike the hip, which is a deep ball and socket joint. So here again, if you do a lot of scanning, your muscles fatigue, your shoulder muscles. You can get increased motion, a little millimeter slippage, of your ball in your socket joint. That can cause you things like tendonitis, bursitis. So to avoid all that, strengthen your rotator cuff. It's the main stabilizing muscles of your shoulder joint. Then it'll help you avoid a lot of shoulder problems. Your shoulder works upon a base called your scapula, your shoulder blade. Shows you a scapular stabilization exercise. And of course, it has some stretches, 4 critical stretches for your shoulder. And it kind of ends with the neck. It gives you a strengthening exercise, gives you some stretches. And it ends with the low back. Has some stretches for the low back. Also has multifidus strengthening. I don't know if you've ever heard of multifidus strengthening, but if you have any kind of a back problem, I can probably show you a study where they've gone and let's say you have a herniated disc or spinal stenosis, or you've had back surgery and you're still having trouble. They go around sticking the multifidus muscle with an EMG, or they look at it under an MRI. They find it smaller than normal, not conducting like it should. Basically, the multifidus muscles of the back are the key stabilizers of the spine. Strengthening your multifidus is a proven way to prevent and treat low back pain. So real critical as you're doing a lot of scans. So yeah, just another resource. Glad there's more coming out like that. Stress is your main problem. I think this is a solid resource. So definitely check it out.